Okay, so welcome to how to know what you need and what you don't need as you declutter. So for this little recording, I am going to talk to you guys a little bit about the mindset and the reality and what's actually going on behind your clutter and why you have it, why you think you need it, and give you some truth bombs and kind of help you shift the way that you view your clutter so that you can figure out for yourself what you really need and what you don't need. So the first thing that I want to tell you about us as humans, okay, we have these five senses, right? Sight is our most dominant sense because, as we sit in our homes, what are you doing? You're looking around at everything around you. Yeah, you can hear things. Yeah, you can taste things. Yeah, you can smell things. But, when you're in your home, you can touch things. When you're sitting in your home, your sight is your most dominant sense. You have to look at all of the things around you, and it is a lot to process. Okay, the more we have to look at, the more we have to process, and ultimately, the worse we feel because our senses, our body, we are physical beings, has to process all of this stuff around us. So you know how you feel like when you walk into, let's just use the example of your home. You walk into your cluttered home and you are overwhelmed. You're like bogged down, you're burdened, your mind you just can't think straight, right? Because you're trying to process everything that you're seeing, everything that you're taking into your senses. Now, how do you feel when you walk into, and this is kind of a mean thing to say to moms because how often do we actually get to do this, but how do you feel when you walk into a spa and they have like nothing really around? Okay, they have some chairs for you to sit in. They have maybe, like a waterfall, some nice soft lights, maybe some flowers, but they don't have piles of stuff laying around. Okay, it's easy on your senses. And I'm not saying that you should try to make your house look like a spa, but you should definitely pay attention to how you're feeling when you walk into certain kinds of spaces with so much to look at. Okay, like when I walk into like Chuck E. Cheese and everything is like overstimulating, there's so much to look at. When I went to Disney World, I don't like Disney World, guys, by the way, not because I just whatever, it's really overstimulating. There is so much to process that it's really hard. And you can tell like when you walk in, like how you feel, like how you're responding. You're like, holy crap, like what do I even look at first? Like, what do we do first? Where do we go first? What do we want to do? What do we want to see? What do we want to pay attention to? You can't tell because there's so much to look at. That's exactly how clutter makes you feel. So when you are living in something like that, every single day, when you have to spend, after you leave work or after you come home from the end of the day, when you go to bed, you have to be surrounded by that. Of course, it's overwhelming. Of course, you're stressed out. Of course, you're feeling anxious and overwhelmed and burdened. And of course, you're going to bed and kind of resetting your mind and your body. And then you wake up and you see all of this clutter around you again. And of course, you jump right back into sensory overload and overwhelm. Okay. So I just want to talk to you about that reality of things for when we talk about, what you actually need to keep and what you not need to keep here at the end of the video. But keep that in your mind that your vision, the things that you're looking at, is very overwhelming and overstimulating when you have too much. Okay, now the next thing that I want to tell you about, kind of the mindset work behind figuring out what you need and what you don't need, is that you have to have a bigger reason as to why you want to do this, okay? It's not enough to like declutter your stuff so that you can say, oh, I'm a minimalist and I only have, my kids only have 10 shirts or whatever it is. Or I'm a minimalist, I only have 300 square feet house. Or I'm a minimalist, I only have one pair of underwear, or whatever it is, okay? The purpose of decluttering and the purpose of simplifying and the purpose of being really intentional about what you keep and what you don't keep is to make sure that it fits your lifestyle, it fits your needs, and it's making your life better, not worse, okay? It's not so that you can achieve some sort of like status thing. And actually, I want to talk about, that's good, good segue into the next part, is that I think it's really, really important to recognize that we live in a consumerist society. Okay, we live in a society that tells us literally in all kinds of ways, more is more. Okay, they tell us that more, bigger houses is better. More decor, it means a more beautiful house. More clothes means that you have a better fashion sense. More toys means you love your kids more. Okay, that's just the life that we live in, or the society that we live in. I'm not saying that you have to live that life, because I don't anymore. You can get out of it, but just kind of understanding that your things do not represent, they don't define you. Okay. And it's kind of a weird line, because I feel like the things that we have in our home add to our life. Okay. I'm not saying that my happiness, there's what I'm trying to say. My happiness and my confidence in myself and my confidence in my motherhood and my confidence as a wife doesn't come from the house that we live in or the things that we have. Okay. I have all that stuff that I've worked on over the years internally on myself for a really long time. And I feel like my outside stuff represents that now. So when I keep things, it's because it represents what's going on with me. Okay. I don't feel like I have to mask it. I don't feel like I need to get validation from my things. Okay. You don't get that satisfaction with your life from your things. You don't get that satisfaction with your body from the clothes that you buy or the whatever things that you wear, or you don't get confidence as a mom because you have the best toys. Okay. It's all in you. And I know that that's kind of like annoying to hear. I know it sounds so cliche. I know it sounds like, okay, like you just go be a hippie and live in the woods by yourself. But for real, like your happiness is in you. Like, and I can tell you this because I have been happy and felt like I was at home in multiple homes across the country, even when I was frustrated by the setup of our RV. That little tiny RV felt like home, and I was happy in it. Okay, I didn't like being in it. I didn't like living in it, but I was still happy. I was still confident. I still felt good about my role as a mom. I felt good about my role as a wife. The RV living sucked. Honestly, I didn't like it, but I was still happy. Like I was still like, okay, this is, I'm not completely derailed by this. This isn't defining me. And just like we live in this house now, I don't feel like I'm a good mom or a good wife or a good friend because of the house, because of the things that we have. So you just kind of have to break ties with those things. And sometimes we don't even realize that we're attaching our worth to our things, but it's so, so common. It's so, so common. So you have to kind of do the internal work to work past that. Okay. Now, I want to let you know too that a lot of times when you're trying to figure out what to keep and what to not keep, the problem that a lot of times people think that they're going to have is that they're not going to have enough, or they're not going to have what they need. And I can promise you the problem is not that you are not going to have enough. That's never the problem. Never, never is the problem that you don't have enough. The problem is that you have too much. Okay. And I want to tell you, hey, Victoria, I want to tell you guys a little bit about what it was like when I left Alaska for Florida. So if you don't know, we moved from Alaska to Florida in about 5 weeks. We made the decision, and then I got rid of literally everything that didn't fit into one of our 3 suitcases and moved to Florida with next to nothing. And it shocked my system. And I was terrified. I was like, we're going to get to Florida. My kids aren't going to have any toys. We're not going to have enough clothes. We're basically going to starve and die. And it's going to be horrible. And as you know, since you're here, obviously that didn't happen. It was the best thing that ever did happen to us. But it kind of shocked my system and really made me learn and see that not having enough was never going to be my problem. I would always have enough. And we had 1 suitcase of toys and 2 suitcases of clothes. And I had my hair straightener and my hair dryer and my makeup and my essential oils. And we bought a set of dishes, and we bought a set of pots and pans and some towels and some bedding. And guess what? We had literally everything that we needed. And it was amazing. It was so freeing. It was so powerful. And as a lot of you guys know, that's when I really got the chance to do a lot of my internal work, working through childhood traumas. I grew up with a lot of the worst kind of traumas that anybody can go through. I was a runaway. I lived in my car. I was like a homeless teen. I should not be okay. But freeing myself from that clutter and that overwhelm of my daily life of like having to worry about laundry and dishes and toys and messes and cleaning up and basically just distracting myself from myself, I dove super deep into healing all of that stuff. And that's why I tell you guys on the inside, like really that's where the magic happens, is when you get to go inside of yourself and figure out, hey, I always have everything I need. Everything's always fine. These things really are not that important. Yes, I can have things that make my daily life more enjoyable and more fun, but they're not that important. They're just things. So let me see. I got my notes here. Okay, so let's talk. I think that's kind of enough about like the mindset part behind like figuring out what you need and what you don't need. Now I'm going to give you some ways, some questions to ask yourself as you go through your own stuff. So like I said at the very beginning, I can't give everybody like a comprehensive list of you should have this and this and this and this. Okay, but what I can do is give you some direction and let you know, ask yourself these questions as you go through your things and figure out what you need and what you don't need. So remember those things. Not enough is never the problem. You always have enough. Your things don't define you. Your things don't make you a better or a worse person. They're just things. Like that's all they are. Stop giving them way more credit than they deserve. Okay, so when you go through your things, ask yourself, is this never or very rarely used thing necessary or not? Okay, so when I say necessary, I mean necessary. So an example of this is like sometimes, and a lot of times when people come in the group, they're like, yeah, I know, but I need it just in case, or I need it for this, or I literally use everything in my house. And I'm like, okay, I hear you. This is where you're at. But on the inside, I'm like, you're not using everything in your house. And I know you're not, because I've been there. I lived that life. I was like, I need a big crock pot and a little crock pot and a rice cooker. And I didn't have an Instapot at the time, but I had like some sort of other pressure cooker. And I was like, I need all four. Okay. I never used them all. I very rarely used any of them, but they weren't necessary. So ask yourself, is this very rarely used thing or this never used thing actually necessary? Do I really need it just in case or what? Hey, no noise. Okay. No noise. No noise. Go lay down. Go lay down. I'm going to move him. Hold on. Ouch. Okay, go lay down. No. Hey, Breezy, can you call him? Go with Breezy. Okay, so ask yourself that. Is it actually necessary, or am I just like tricking myself into thinking that I want to live in the future of someday? So that's what I want to talk to you about next, is when you're keeping all of these things like, oh, I could use this just in case, or maybe one day I'll want to do this, or maybe one day I'll want to make this thing. You're living in the future, and it's literally taking away from your ability to be present right now. Because instead of being like, what can I do with my family today? You're like, what can I keep in my house for maybe one day I want to make a pasta with them, or maybe one day I want to make this cake with them. You're living way too in the future. And honestly, your clutter takes away from your ability to be present right now, because you're like trying to figure out and you're thinking about all these things you could do, or all of these things you want to do, or all of these things that maybe one day you will get around to doing, instead of actually being in the moment with your family right now, which is why I only have a small amount of crafts. Okay, I know what my kids like to do on a daily and regular basis, and I make it really, really easy for us to do that regularly together. It's right there. It's easy to access. We have everything we need, and we have a lot of fun with it. Got to slow with the beginners. I know. Sorry, this is pretty advanced stuff. But I know you guys are ready for it. And the thing about it is that you'll hear this. And a lot of times I think when I go off the deep end, like I am right now, people are like, man, she's crazy. But at least you're hearing it, and it's getting into some part of your mind or your heart or whatever it is that you're operating from right now, your gut. And you're going to remember it as you continue to go on this decluttering process. Like when we get to Monday on the purgeathon, when I'm like telling you guys, get rid of it, you're going to be like, okay, fine. Um, Victoria says, so you're saying I need to get rid of the baker's rack that I'm obsessed with sitting in storage until we move in a year. Yeah, I'm saying get rid of it. I am saying get brave and get rid of it. Like there was so many of those things in Alaska that I was like, I can't believe I'm just loading this stuff up and taking it away, especially as a teacher. When I had this 1,000 square foot house that I rented full of teaching supplies, I was like, I can't believe I'm getting rid of this stuff. This is such a waste. My life is a lie. I'm going to be the worst teacher ever. But just like my motherhood and my marriage grew into something way better than I ever imagined when we got rid of our stuff, my teaching skills also improved when I got rid of all the crap. I was able to actually teach the kids and engage with the students. So I swear I save nothing, but I'm in love with it and don't think I will ever find one like it again. Then keep it. Keep it. That's how you feel about it. That's how you feel about it. So that's a good thing to talk about too. Like there are some things that I just love to have. Okay. Like this painting, I'm going to keep it forever. I love it. I have a yellow coffee cup that I'll keep forever because I love it. It's cute and I love to drink out of it. Okay. What is something else? Let me think of something else. I can't think of anything, but when I think of another example, I will let you know because there are some things. Oh, the pair of green shorts that all of my kids have worn. It's a size 2T, like green basketball shorts. The girls and the boys have worn them. I'm going to keep that forever. Are my kids going to wear them forever? No, but I'm going to keep it forever because I love them. And I have good feelings attached to it. So whatever, we'll talk about that in a minute. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay. Actually, we'll just talk about it right now and I'll switch up my notes. I'll be flexible. I can do that. I can read the end notes before I read the other notes, right? Okay, so whatever you keep, these are kind of the 4 criteria that I say to ask yourself when you are thinking about what to keep. First of all, does it serve a purpose? Okay, there's a lot of things, especially when it comes to like furniture, wall hangings, decor, kitchen gadgets. Does it serve a purpose? Now, take it one step further and say, ask yourself, does this serve a purpose for my family? The example that I like to give is the freaking pasta maker that was really cool, like attached to the counter. You like roll it out, you can make all kinds of pasta. That obviously has a purpose, okay, to make homemade pasta. It doesn't have a purpose for my family or myself because I never used it. So does it serve a purpose and does it serve a purpose to your family? Okay, now you're probably like, that's really boring. You're going to have just a super practical, functional house and that's it. No, because there are other questions to ask yourself. Does it make you happy? Okay, I'm trying to think of something. I can't think of anything that makes you happy. Okay, Victoria, we'll use I know I have those things, so when I remember it, I'll put a post up about it. But like for Victoria, she really likes that. Obviously, it makes her happy on some sort of level, and she really likes it. That's okay. Keep that. For a lot of people, it's clothes and clothing. If it makes you happy, keep it. But don't keep clothes because closets full of clothes that don't fit you and don't fit your style and you don't like it. Okay, don't keep those clothes. But if you have a walk-in closet full of tons of clothes that you love and wear and you're not overwhelmed by it, keep it. Okay, same thing with makeup. Like there's a girl in here, I don't know if she'll watch this. I haven't seen her in a while, but Mandy, if you watch this, she has a huge makeup collection because she loves to do her makeup. She loves it. She's very creative with it. She's very good at it and she has a lot of it. And that's kind of what I was talking about at the beginning. Don't declutter your stuff just to be like, oh, I don't have a lot of stuff. Only keep the things that actually make you happy. It just makes me sad. I can't use it. We just moved and have no space for it now. Well, then keep it. How ridiculous if I don't use it when we move. Well, if you don't, then you can get rid of it then. Like no harm, no foul. Nothing bad is going to happen. Okay. So the third criteria is asking yourself, does this align with me? Does this represent me? Now, the example that I like to give for this is the Chip and Joanna Gaines section at Target. It's super cute, right? Like we walk through it. We're like, man, everything here is so cute. I love it. I want it. But maybe you bring it home and you're like, wow, this doesn't fit my home at all. Like totally honest, guys. And I've shared this story again, but I'm going to share it or shared this story before, but I'm going to share it again. When my husband and I were looking for houses, we were always like, we're super modern. We want whites and grays and blacks and super sleek looking. And we want the white subway tile. We want the white granite countertops. We want the white counters. We want the white kitchen. We want the fireplace with the white brick, right? Because that's what every single episode of Fixer Upper does, right? Like white country kitchens. And when we watched, what's that other show? Flip or Flop. It was like the same, like whites and grays everywhere. And we're like, yeah, when we find a house, like that's what we want. And if you guys have seen our kitchen, it's could not be more different. It's dark browns with light blue, and I love it. And that, I'm so glad we didn't get a house that didn't feel like us, because we stopped searching for those things. We're like, let's just find something that feels great. We walked into this house and we're like, this is perfect. This is perfect. Like, I didn't even know we loved dark cabinets so much, and I won't ever have a white kitchen. Well, I won't say that. But the things that you're bringing into your home and that you are keeping in your home and that you are using to decorate your home, and the clothing that you're wearing, make sure that it represents you. So now I'm going to tell you guys one more thing about this, and please don't throw rocks at me, but it's fall. It's fall in Idaho. We have like the perfect season of fall. It's like picture perfect. I don't like pumpkin spice lattes. I don't like I'm wearing leggings right now because I'm washing my jeans. And I was super upset that I had to go get my daughter from school in leggings, because I don't like wearing leggings. I don't like wearing leggings out into public. I think that they're super cute on other people, but not on me. Okay, so keep things that are aligned with you and your style. I think that plaid, like red buffalo plaid print, is super cute on other people, but I won't ever wear it. I won't. I look like a lumberjack in it. It's not my style. I won't wear Ugg boots because they're not my style. And I know that it's super trendy, and I've tried it and I put it on and I just feel like a freak. Okay. It's just not me. So I'm going to wear bright blue in fall and a hoodie in the middle of summer, because that's who I am as a person. Okay. Yeah. Leggings for life. Yeah. See, I can't do it. Like, I wear them to work out, and I'm wearing them right now because, like I said, I decided to wash all my jeans at once. Bad idea. But yeah, I'll wear hoodies in the summer and sweat my face off because that's it. That's just me. Anyway, okay, so only keep things that are aligned with you and match your style. Okay, just because it's on HGTV doesn't mean that's the house you have to have or aspire to. Just because it's on Pinterest or on Instagram doesn't mean you have to wear it. You can do your own thing. Okay, do your own thing. Hoodies, leggings, and flip-flops all day, every day. You have literally everything. She's like, I got all seasons covered. Hoodies, leggings, and flip-flops. I love flip-flops too. And I grew up in Alaska, and even in the middle of winter, December, I would be wearing flip-flops and a hoodie and jeans. Yeah, so just keep the things that are aligned with you. Don't get sucked into trends or whatever. Yoga pants every day. Yeah. And most of my friends do. They're awesome and comfortable. Okay. So those are the first three. The last thing is no multiples. Okay. And guys, take these criteria for whatever works for you, but like no multiples. Like when I did my house tour the other day, I don't buy multiples of laundry soap. I use what I have and then I go get more, because laundry soap's always on sale. Guess what companies are great at doing? Putting on sales and making you feel like you're always getting a deal. Okay. I don't buy multiples of laundry soap. I don't buy multiples of bedding. I don't have extra bedding just hanging around in my house. Actually, we have one set now because my husband got a new set for our bed. And he was like, stop getting rid of everything. So we have an extra for our bed now. That's fine. I just don't buy multiples. Like I was talking about, like the crock pot and the Instapot and the rice cooker and the pressure cooker and the baby bullet and the blender. You just don't need multiples like you think you do. Because like I was talking about earlier, the problem isn't that you don't have enough. That's never the problem. The problem is that you have too much. And when you bring in so much, that's just that much more that you have to manage. Okay. Okay. So those are the things to ask when you are keeping things, or kind of like the criteria to follow. Now I want to ask you your motivation. Oh, you had a home birth. That's awesome. Yeah, yeah, and that's smart. Extra set of sheets for the home birth is smart. Um, okay, so the last thing that I want to have you guys ask yourself as you are decluttering your things and deciding what to keep and what not to keep is your motivations for what you're keeping. Okay, and this is really important. And I kind of talked about it a little bit yesterday when we did the homeschooling video. Um, Fear isn't, don't make any of your decisions out of fear. Okay. If you are keeping things for fear of not having enough, for fear of needing it and not having it, for fear of wasting money, for fear of not having enough money to replace it, if you are keeping things out of fear, let it go. Okay. And I know this is kind of a weird video today, but hang with me. This might be one of the things that you hear now and it will click with you later. But if you are keeping things out of fear, you are attaching that super negative energy to that thing and you are keeping it in your space and it's going to keep bringing you down. Okay. So if you are keeping things because you are afraid you're not going to have enough and you're holding on to everything because you're like, holy crap, I don't have enough money. I spent all my money on this thing. I'm going to keep it around me. You're keeping those vibes in your everyday life. And that is not good. Sometimes asking why until you can't answer it anymore is good. Yeah. Yeah. And Savannah, we've done that together. Remember that? Yeah. But asking what is your motivation? Don't keep things out of fear because you're going to keep that super limiting belief and mindset in your everyday space forever and ever. And you're never going to be able to move forward. Cut ties with it. Cut ties with it right now. Okay. Are you keeping it so that you can maintain a certain image that other people care about, not you? So when we moved to Florida, I've talked a little bit about this, but I was kind of embarrassed to have people come over to our house because it was so empty. Okay, because we didn't have a lot of stuff. Obviously, we had our basic stuff. We brought 3 suitcases. And for about my first year there, I was embarrassed to have people over because I was like, they're going to think we're poor. They're going to think that I don't know how to decorate. They're going to think that, hey, Paula, it's okay. The replays will be up. But I was still really concerned about what other people would think of my home. And sometimes I still get those feelings. Like when I did the house tour the other day, guys, honestly, I was like, they're going to think I'm crazy. They're going to think I don't have anything in my house. They're going to think I'm lame. They're going to think I, am whatever. And so then I was like, maybe I should put some stuff up on the walls real quick. Even though I didn't have anything to put up on the walls, but I was like, I was still really concerned, like, what are people going to think? What is the image that I'm making that other people are going to perceive? And that sucks. So if you're keeping things to be like, oh man, look at this, expensive decor that I have, or look at how many gadgets I have, or look at how many toys my kids have. If you're doing it to prove a point to other people, you really need to reevaluate whether you should be keeping it or not. Okay, if you're keeping it for the image that other people perceive you as, and it doesn't make you feel good and it's not something that you want, get rid of it, okay? And don't get things just to prove a point to people, okay? I have, anyway, that's a conversation for a different day. Do you think that it's gonna give you like a status upgrade? So my husband and I had a really good conversation about this a couple of months ago when we were talking about what kind of house we want to have, because surprise, we don't want to be in Idaho forever. But when we were talking about like future, like career plans and business goals, and he was like, why, like, is it really important for us to have like granite countertops? Like, what does that even mean? Why does that matter? And I was like, man, like if I wasn't already married to you, I would marry you all again, because a lot of times people are like, I want granite countertops. I want that white kitchen because it's on HGTV and they have, a $500,000 budget. And I want that because it represents a status thing. And who cares? Like, who cares? Like having really expensive clothes, like having like Louboutin shoes, like who cares? Like just because you have it doesn't mean that you are better or happier or more successful. So if you are keeping things or buying things because it boosts your status or makes you feel like you have more or whatever, like really reevaluate your motivation for keeping it. And then if you are keeping things for fear of lack, I just wanted to touch on that again, because I think that is honestly the biggest reason that people hold on to things is fear of lack, of fear of not having enough. Don't keep it. Just kind of get brave and ask yourself, like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen if I get rid of this clutter? What's the worst thing that's going to happen if I break free from all of this stuff that's sitting in the garage? What is the worst thing that's going to happen? And I can tell you guys, nothing bad is going to happen because I've done it. I've done it. We literally were like sitting in our house in the middle of July in Alaska. Like, what would it be like? Or my husband, this is what he said. What would you think if like we just moved to a big city and dominated like my business? And I was like, okay, like nobody ever leaves Alaska. And then 6 weeks later, I was living on the beach. Okay, ditched all the stuff and nothing bad happened. Nothing bad happened when I didn't have a cluttered kitchen. Nothing bad happened when I didn't have a medicine cabinet overflowing with all kinds of supplements and medicines and whatever else I had. Nothing bad happened when we got rid of the toys. Nothing bad happened when I had a suitcase full of clothes. Nothing bad happened. And I say it over and over and over again. Everything good happened. My marriage improved. Myself improved. My relationship with my kids improved. My career improves. My husband's career improves. Everything got better. Our money situation improves. Literally everything gets better. So that's pretty much it. Like, what do you guys have questions? Questions, comments? Let me know below. Do you think I'm full-blown crazy? What's going on? Okay, so I'm going to hang up on the podcast and I'm going to come and hang out and talk with you guys on Facebook for a little bit. But also on the podcast, if you're not in the purgeathon yet, the link to sign up is in the comments. And I want to see you inside the purgeathon because it goes along really well with everything that we just talked about and actually getting rid of the things so that you can start living the things that I was talking about today. Okay, so on Facebook, guys, the purgeathon starts on Monday. I'll put the link for you guys to sign up in the comments, but we're going to talk about like getting rid of lots and lots of stuff. Okay, so every day for the purgeathon, it's 3 different areas that you can declutter that take about 10 to 20 minutes that you can actually do because I get it. We're moms, we have kids. That's our time frame, right? So I'll give you 3 options to choose from, 3 days in a row. You can do all of them or none of them. It's going to be really, really good. And guys, I'm going to push you out of your comfort zone. I'm going to be like, nope, don't keep it. Don't keep it. It's going to be like that time I sat with Savannah in her bathtub and was like, keep, don't keep, keep, don't keep. Brittany says, just want to say thanks. I've been following your page here and you've helped my mindset so much. I had already started before finding you, but this has helped. Good. I'm glad. Okay. Rochelle says, haven't been feeling well, but now I got to get busy after watching this. Yeah, go for it. Or if you want to wait until like just rest until Monday when I really push you guys, do that. And then, so that's Monday. And I didn't want to tell you guys about it, but I'm going to tell you about it because I think it's a really good, we're here now. Like, let's just talk about it. In December, I'm doing another free challenge. It's going to be a week long. It's going to be kind of like the purgeathon, but different. It's called Try on Minimalism. If Shamra's here, she helped come up with the name. She kind of sparked the idea. But yeah, Savannah replaced her sweaters and undershirts this month. Are you happy with it now? So it's called Try on Minimalism, and it's going to be a week where I give you some action steps to actually test drive living with less for you, and you can get a really good feel for what it's like to actually live with less. So that is the new challenge. I completed it on like Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. And now it's just sitting there. It's like when I buy Christmas presents too early, and then I bought my in-laws pictures and got them framed of the grandkids. And then I was like, I'm going to send them for Christmas. And then I sent them out last week. That's how I feel about this challenge. I'm like, I made it. It's ready to go, but I can't give it to them until December. But it's going to be really fun. It's going to get you, kind of take you to the next level. It's kind of like the next natural step of the purgeathon. And actually taking it one step further than just like getting rid of stuff. Yes, Savannah loves them all now. Yay. So yeah, there's a new challenge coming up that I'm not telling you guys about other than what I just told you now. Try on minimalism. And I really don't like the word minimalism. I think it makes people think that they have to like follow this really strict set of rules and whatever. It doesn't have to be like that. You get to make it completely your own. And that's what we're going to do in December. So that's going to be fun. Any other questions? comments, thoughts, anything. Otherwise, I'm going to go hang up and go take care of Breezy, who's her stomach's still upset. I'm going to go give her some rice water. All right. I don't see any other comments. So thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you guys later.